Good morning, everyone, and welcome to your second day of Embark. I'm Marissa Crowley, one of the advisors for career exploration. And on behalf of our whole team, we really hope that you enjoyed the day yesterday, that you got to know some of your fellow members of the class of 2025, learned some useful tips, and heard some perspectives that are meaningful for you. We're really excited to start out on day two, when we'll be transitioning a little bit to talk about how to apply everything that you learned yesterday to your future career journey. So let's get started. So yesterday, we talked through your values, strengths, and how to design your Wellesley, and we heard about some alums finding career paths. The main takeaways from yesterday were: be aware of your values and how they guide your decision-making and your definition of success. Articulate your strengths and know how you can apply them. Expect and try to enjoy a winding, unpredictable career path. Be intentional about seeking out new experiences that interest you. Make plans if it feels good for you to plan ahead, but be ready to change those plans too. And build a diverse toolkit of self-awareness, skills, and knowledge. They will prepare you together to embrace unexpected opportunities when they arise. This all sets the framework for how we think about career development, knowing yourself and what you have to offer the world, learning from others' experiences, and being intentional and prepared for a twisting or unpredictable path. We know, of course, that careers are not a straight line. There are lots of routes that you can take to the same destination, and your ideal destinations will probably keep changing over time. That's all okay, it's totally normal, and hopefully it keeps things feeling dynamic and engaging over the course of your career. But there is still one element missing that's important to your academic and professional journey. It's something that you worked on throughout the day yesterday, whether you realized it or not. And that is the importance of community. Now, maybe yesterday, as you were thinking through your values or your personal strengths, those felt like they were really individual. And in a sense, they are, of course, but nobody is living in a vacuum. And the truth about careers is that no one does it alone. We all have supporters and guides to help us along at every single step of the way. As you look around the room at your group right now and look around campus throughout this spring, this is your community. You are all in this together. And as peers, you can all provide each other with a support system while you're at Wellesley and beyond. Now, I promise you, of course, that the Alum Network will play a role in your life, and it will be a good one. But the Alum Network isn't some abstraction that exists out there for future you after you graduate. It is the people around you right now. They will be your future alum network, and you will all be cheering each other on along the way. Please remember that you are not in competition with one another. There is no scarcity of opportunity. You can all succeed best by succeeding together. So lean on each other, share your advice and suggestions, ask each other questions, learn from each other, and give to each other. Anything that helps one Wellesley student helps the whole community. We really hope you've already felt that in the time that you've been at Wellesley, and that this weekend is just another chance to embrace and enjoy all of your Wellesley supporters. So on that note, when we think about community support in a career development context, there are some key roles that come to mind, the types of supporters and advocates we all need to have along the way. These are a challenger, someone to offer constructive pushback, to really make you think about your opinions and your goals and help refine them. A role model, that's someone you emulate who represents some characteristics you might like to build or an attitude that inspires you. A mentor is someone who's there to talk to you, and more important, to listen to you. A cheerleader is someone who's always there to encourage you, to keep your spirits up, maybe to help you get your energy back after a disappointment. And finally, a sponsor. This is someone who can talk about you, brag about your skills or all the cool things you've done on your behalf. I want each of you to think about which of these types of supporters you have in your Wellesley community and who they are. They might be friends, roommates, or classmates. They also might be faculty, staff, or coaches. So Grab your notebook and write down these 5 categories on a fresh sheet of paper. I'd like you to brainstorm and write down some names for your challenger, your role model, your mentor, your cheerleader, and your sponsor. You can write down more than one name for each. That's totally fine if you have lots of people who fit into those categories. So we'll pause here for about 5 minutes while you do that. I hope you all came up with some names for your community supporters. Maybe some of them were really easy to identify, and others were a lot harder, and that's okay. You are just getting started building your Wellesley community. This is just the beginning. So take note of which types of supporters you already have and which types you still need, and think about where you might be able to find those people on campus. Keep this idea of your Wellesley community in mind as you're moving forward, thinking about your academics, internships, and future jobs. Remember that we are all in this together and we're all here to support one another. So we've covered what you're bringing with you along already on this journey, your strengths, your values, community, the knowledge that your path will be an unpredictable and enjoyable one, and more. So where do we go from here? We need to take all of this potential and connect it with resources and opportunities. And that's what we will focus on at Embark today. Just to orient you a little bit to where we are in a career development cycle, yesterday we worked through lots of self-awareness and reflection. Today, we are turning our attention towards how to move forward with intention by researching and exploring opportunities and resources. By the end of the day today, you might have a few ideas of how you want to put some of this into practice. The first stop is going to be identifying resources, knowing what tools are available to you and how to use them. So later this morning, you'll learn about and practice using some specific resources, some of these specific tools. These include things like LinkedIn and the Hive for networking and Handshake for finding internships. These resources will be really important for your research and exploration processes, as well as for putting your ideas into action by finding opportunities that align with your interests and your goals. Later in the day, you'll be attending the Experiential Learning Fair. This is where you can start to get a sense of the wealth of opportunities Wellesley has to offer you as you try out applying your interests and your skills in different experiences. You can stop by a table today to learn about the Albright Institute, fellowships, McNair Scholars, study abroad, and much, much more. All of these are awesome ways to practice and take action, to give you some new perspectives and experiences that will help you to continuously refine your interests and the directions you think you might want to go in your career. A fair like this one is also a great chance to practice some networking. So be sure to stop by lots of tables. Challenge yourself to ask questions of at least 3 different people you meet at the fair. You never know who might have a tip or a suggestion that really makes a difference for you. In order to be intentional about today, I'd love for us all to identify priorities. In your notebook, I'm going to have you jot down your top 3 goals or objectives for the day. For example, maybe you really want to learn how to search for internships in Handshake or how to sign up for study abroad. You can only make sure you accomplish your priorities by knowing what they are in advance. So after this presentation, please take a few minutes to jot down those top 3 priorities in your notebook and keep those in mind throughout the day. Now I'm going to revisit this word cloud that you saw yesterday. Hopefully we are still feeling mostly excited, curious, hopeful, and motivated this morning. And a little bit of nervous is okay too. Enjoy your second day of Embark.